Welcome back, brothers and sisters of Christ. My name is Brianna and I'm back with another video. And today's video is every job is for a season. One of the things that I look back on and realize is that every job is for a season. And we should be grateful for the season that we're in, because we are supposed to be there and God placed us there. And even those jobs you hated the most, I want you to look back on what you learned from those jobs that has helped you in your personal life or helped you get where you are today. A lot of times we pray and ask God for a job, and after a while, when we get that job, after a while we complain and take the job for granted, not knowing that God may have moved some people out of the way for you to even be in the position that you're in. And some of us need to be grateful that he took us from a low-paying or toxic job, or we forget how we didn't have a job at all before God blessed us with the job that we do have now. But instead, we complain about jobs we ask God for. He gave it to us and we're ungrateful. Take advantage. Some people get the job that they asked for and then they do things to ruin the job, lose the job. Like keep calling off, stealing from the job, being lazy, don't want to do no work, just getting too comfortable. Then when you lose it, you're crying out to God again. I think we ought to learn how to appreciate what God gave us the first time. I want to break down some of my job history that shows every job is for a season, for some of us at least. So for an example, my first job was clothing retail. I worked a few clothing retail jobs until I got my first call center job. But it was because I had the retail experience that I got my first call center job, because I had retail and customer service experience. So that landed me that job. After that, I started working for the BMV or DMV, whatever your state calls it. But it was a customer service experience that landed me that job. Okay, after the BMV during the COVID, which the Lord blessed me with my first work from home job, me and my sisters, our first work from home jobs during COVID. That was a great blessing. I ended up getting another call center job, but it was in the medical field this time. But it was my call center and customer service experience that landed me that job. I didn't have no medical experience, but because my call center and customer service experience, they took a chance on me. So after I left that job, I ended up getting another job, and it was another call center job in the medical field. And it was because I had already had customer service and medical experience from my previous medical customer service job that I was able to land this job. And I will say, during my time working at this job, I had just found out that I was pregnant like a week after I started. And the whole time I was pregnant, we were slow. I kept getting what they call like VTO, VSR. Like I was getting off work. We were able to get off work early because we were so slow. And this is like with my whole pregnancy. It was sweet, y'all. So I got to relax. I had a job. I had income coming in. But I got to relax and get off early and go to sleep and enjoy my pregnancy, y'all. And I remember when I came back to the job, like after my maternity leave, the job was so busy. And I knew that I couldn't do it anymore. Like I literally, it was like one of them, I just can't. Like it was mentally draining. But also I had my daughter at that time. And she was at home with me, and my fiance would be at work, so she would be in the background crying sometimes. And luckily the callers didn't ever complain. They were like, oh my gosh, you got a baby, so cute. But the thing is, I was getting worried and concerned because the managers, they didn't listen to the calls and stuff. I was getting worried and concerned that would become an issue. So I started fearing my job, and I ended up leaving that job. I ended up leaving that job with no other job, like no backup plan. I just left. Like it was too stressful. And 3 months later, I was able to get a job in the medical field, but it was not a call center job. It was something completely different. And I got to stay at home with my baby. Didn't have to pay for daycare because I had to stay at home, my baby, tend to her needs, didn't have to pay for daycare, didn't have to have fear of losing my job because I'm on a call center and they're going to hear my baby and all of that. I got to spend time with my baby girl, watch her grow up as I work from home, and still bring in income. He made every season perfect. The timing was perfect. First work from home job during COVID. Then I got the call center job during my pregnancy and was able to get off early, enjoy my pregnancy. Then I got the off the phone job when it was time, after I had my baby, because he knew I couldn't. And the interesting thing is I had been praying to God for years for an off the phone job and to be out of customer service. And I asked for a job that I can focus more on me and my free time to pour into my business and personal goals. And with this job, I'm able to do just that. I prayed that prayer years ago and he answered on his timing, which is perfect. And like I always say, it's not on our timing, it's his. And it may be years down the line, but you will look up and you'll be living in an answered prayer. I was mentally drained from the call center job. But he knew this is the time that you need to be off when you have your baby girl. Now I'm going to remove you from the call center job because you have a daughter. So that was just perfect. But with these job roles, my roles became more important. So that means my experience became more important, which means my pay began to grow. So every job I went up, and I feel like each job led me to where I needed to be, and it helped me grow and be better, even though I hated most of these jobs. God got me to the next chapter. I say God. It got me to the next chapter in life. God did get me to the next chapter. But those jobs got me to the next chapter in life. And it literally built me up for the next chapter. Each job built me up for the next job. And we need to start being grateful for what these jobs taught us and how they helped us. And there's skills and knowledge that we have that we wouldn't have had if it wasn't for these jobs. And we can apply that to our personal lives. For example, my current or future business owners, use what you know and what these companies have taught you and apply it to your own business. Y'all, we didn't work for these people for no reason. We can get something out of it. They done taught us some stuff. We know some skills. Financial stuff, customer service, sales. It's so much stuff that we learn on these jobs that we can either take that experience and go somewhere bigger and higher, or we can use that to make our own companies and business. So I've been finding myself more grateful. I might vent about my job here and there when they upset me, because all jobs will do that. But I have to remind myself that I am living in an answered prayer and that God did not have to answer that prayer. So I need to make sure not to take it for granted. And if you're in a season with no job, talk to God and figure out what is it that he wants you to do during this season of you being jobless. But every job is for a season and is building you up for the next adventure that God has for you. Learn to be grateful and content in the season that God has you in for a reason. And I want to read, I don't even know how to spell this. I don't know how to spell it. I don't even know how to pronounce this. I'm looking for it. Now I can't find it. 592. Okay. So I'm gonna read. Okay, it's ECCLESIASTES, because I ain't trying. So we got chapter 3, verse 1 through 8. I believe I read this in another one of my videos. But anyway, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. And I feel like, yeah, everything, there's a time and a season for everything, which would mean jobs as well. So I just feel like since there is a time and a season for everything, when we're in these seasons, I think that we ought to be grateful and we just should live in that season. Enjoy that season and live in that blessing and be grateful for that, because as we know, everything is temporary. So the season that you're in, be grateful for it, because that season is building you up for the next season. And when you think about that, you can get excited. Like, I'm going to put my all into this season because it's building me up for the next season. And the next season is always better than the last. So we got Romans chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. So yes, y'all. Every job is for a season. Be grateful for the job that you have, for the season that you're in, and know that it's going to lead you to your next chapter in life. That is all that I have for today. If this word is not for you, it's for somebody else. So remember, I'm telling y'all this because I love y'all. God bless.